Spectre finally opens this week, marking the fourth outing of Daniel Craig as legendary alcoholic super spy James Bond. A movie that, despite the hype, would never have happened if Quentin Tarantino had gotten his way and directed Casino Royale 10 years ago. Hey guys, welcome to Rejected Movie Ideas, the show that fantasizes about the unmade cooler versions of movies we already love. Case in point, Quentin Tarantino's take on Casino Royale. Now, we can't really talk about Tarantino's version of 007's first outing without examining how much of a pain in the ass it was to get the filming rights for Casino Royale in the first place. See, a long time ago, there lived an alcoholic naval intelligence officer by the name of EON Fleming, who'd occasionally interrupt his wild games of solitaire by scribbling down fantasies of an action-packed life he'd rather be living as a member of Her Majesty's Secret Service. He would later slap covers on these fantasies and call them books, the first of which was Casino Royale. Anxious to see his daydreaming shenanigans on the big screen, Fleming sold the rights for his first novel to the first producer he could find, who in turn did a great job shitting all over Fleming's labor of love by stripping Bond of his British panache, making him an American with a gambling problem, and having all the other characters condescendingly referring to him as Jimmy. However, the worst thing about this 1954 made-for-TV adaptation was that it was filmed a good 8 years before EON Productions, makers of the official James Bond series, acquired the rights to the remaining books, and were able to adapt them to the big screen with cinema's favorite lady slapper. This left James Bond's first adventure in a legal loophole for more than 50 years, restricting EON from touching it and leaving it vulnerable to the hackish filmmakers behind the 1967 LSD-inspired adaptation. Trust me, the less you know about this one, the better. Fast forward to the mid-90s when a post-Pulp Fiction Tarantino is in the prime of his powers and falls in love with Pierce Brosnan's take of the iconic womanizing murderer. Tarantino quickly sets out to take advantage of Casino Royale's legal loophole in order to make an adaptation of the book himself. Unfortunately for all of us, the rights to adapt the book were bought back by the producers of the official series before Tarantino was able to secure them for himself, which led him to a very public campaign of kissing some major ass. They've got this gigantic franchise and they can't do anything wrong with it. Let's just this one year go my way and do it a little differently. I won't do anything that will ruin the series. When asked about any specifics regarding his take on the book, the director, who loves the 60s and 70s almost as much as he loves rampant cartoon levels of violence, unsurprisingly said, "If I owned the material, I would set it in the 60s, but I'm sure I'd have to do it now." Although all of this fell on the producers' deaf ears at the time, it did get the attention of the incumbent James Bond, who was fresh off the crime against cinema that was Die Another Day. Brosnan wanted to take his Bond in another direction, one that hopefully wouldn't have him surf giant waves off of melting iceberg. I'd hooked up with Quentin Tarantino, who wanted to direct the movie, and I took that idea to the producers. They have a way of doing the movies, and they're not open to discussion. They threw my idea out the window. They said they wanted to go in a new direction. A week later, the producers officially announced that Pierce Brosnan would no longer play the invisible car driving spy, and that their next Bond movie would be a Tarantino-less Casino Royale. The reboot of the Bond series was a global box office hit and received some of the best critical response the franchise had seen in decades, none of which impressed Tarantino, who, when asked about the film's success, answered with no shortage of bitterness, "I never saw Casino Royale because I was so mad at those guys. They said publicly that Casino Royale was unfilmable, but the minute I said I would do Casino Royale, it's on all the websites and it's the film that people want to see. They should have said thank you." Bitter or not, Tarantino moved on and therapeutically murdered a building full of Nazis in his next film, while the Bond producers also moved on and realized that their grim and gritty approach to the 007 series has made the franchise a lot more money than all the gadgets, invisible cars, and 50-year-old tsunami servers ever could. Hey guys, hope you liked that episode. I'm a huge James Bond fan, and actually 2 years ago I watched all of the movies in order, writing up reviews and everything on them. I loved Skyfall, and I couldn't be more excited for Spectre. So what's your favorite Bond movie? There's so many to choose from. What's your favorite Bond? Let us know the answer to either of these questions in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more of this series. And if you like me, follow me on Twitter at James A. Janice, or subscribe to my channel on YouTube at Practical Folks. Thanks a lot. Be good people.